Rising Shadow. I see the Sarkaz's desire for vengeance. Enable administration level encryption. Image number 0018. Admin. Activating recorder. Beginning video record. While I slept, the ruins of our homeland nurtured new life. Originum is what guides their development, reshaping the life forms from Talos 2 to have a similar appearance to us. I am rather fortunate. I have been able to leap across the millennia to communicate with them. I have even considered myself one of the people of this land for a time, experiencing their path and future. But in the end, I am not of here. I have begun to feel uneasy about Teresa's efforts. If the Originum project ends in failure, no. Even if it is merely postponed for some time, Teresa, Kal'tsit, even the future that I promised to Amia, the inhabitants of this planet, some of the few life forms known to us, are but illusions that will break at the lightest touch. I have been lying to them and to myself for a very long time now. But how will I explain it to Kal'tsit? Or to Teresa? Or Amia? Am I supposed to tell them that all the pain they have been through is the key to their salvation? And they must stop fighting? That all of Terran's civilization is a fleeting dream, and only by being assimilated into Originum will we have the opportunity to avert our fate. Seeing the lives of those they call the infected dissipate like smoke brings pain to my heart. It has long been a common sight on Terra, but it always marks the end of a life, sorrowful and cruel. It has been too long since I've heard a voice full of life. I can't just see them as unexpected sparks. But what I see cannot be called a warrior's death. Rather, they have given in to the Originum's assimilation, passing through death to join the assimilated universe. A chance where life can break through the deepest darkness. Should I bow in silence at their deaths? Or should I quietly rejoice at the smooth progression of the project? It is for this reason that Teresa dedicates herself to her research. Kal'tsit, our AMA 10, has also chosen to believe in the potential of Terra. Chosen to resist Originum and put an end to war. But what about me? The Originum project was built upon the efforts of countless generations. And in that time, billions of our compatriots have died. All in exchange for a mere 10,000 years that I have spent waiting and waiting. And now, the flint and tinder are in my hands. After all the long years, how could I abandon it? Because Terra has left me pleasantly surprised in a few short years? Because of the choices that Teresa and Kal'tsit made? Even if Amia has moved me to compassion, would I not have been the selfish one all along? They awakened me to be their salvation, but in truth, I am destined to bring them to annihilation. They awakened me, their destroyer, as if I were their savior. Chokes back tears. Amia. Kal'tsit. What should I do? Priestess. What should I do? perhaps I should reveal everything to Kal'tsit and Teresa. Originum has led them down roughly the correct path. Arrogant though it may be, this has been sufficient for these souls to perform a new kind of miracle. Perhaps I must re-examine Teresa and Kal'tsit's plan. Babel's research has proceeded faster than expected, but Terra's political structure is rather primitive, and Babel does not yet have the ability to transcend the barriers of race and nation so that it may represent Terra as a whole. Believe in Terra. Believe in the people to build their own future. Carry on with the project. At least the vestiges of those who came before can live on within Originum. Believe in her. Stop her. Well, how could I ever blame you? I understand your dilemma. Our debates are far beyond what those little life forms known as humans could participate in. But this is the only way. You and I both know that much. If, perhaps, we still have time before its return, we can envision things together. Achieve them together. Describe anything and everything within the boundaries of the universe together. I hope that in those fragile moments, you will always stand by my side. You will, won't you? That concludes my report, Your Highness. The military commission seems to be certain we will retake Region C8-10's villages and supplies. But by building an outpost there, they have already fallen into a trap. There are, however, some officers who have begun to use tactics completely different from Manfred's. This is highly irregular. Our spies have reported seeing Naxars entering the troops' camp. Nesalam. What does the doctor make of it? The doctor believes that no matter how the Sarkaz god of war intends to participate in this conflict, our arrangements will be thrown into complete disarray. What about you? Everyone is well aware that many members of the royal court have always favored the military commission, which advocates for reprisals and violence. But on the account of certain restrictions, ones that you might even call rules of convention, none of them are willing to participate in the civil war. If the sovereigns were to decide to wage war upon us in Khosdel, those Sarkaz who have not yet returned would once more be unable to find Babel on the map. Practically speaking, if the court sides against us, the military gap will be concerning. Plus those that support us are, for the most part, not warriors or soldiers. For many of our troops, this is the first time they have ever held a weapon. This is why I must speak my mind. No matter how you look at the facts, our situation is changing dramatically. I understand. Keep monitoring the Naxar court. If Nesalem is no longer holding back, then Dukarel is likely to act as well. For 3 weeks in a row, the Rose Riverbank has no ships. The Rose Riverbank is the most excellent spy network. They are able to deceive anyone they so wish, except for their sovereign lord. Tell them to pull out immediately. Leave Khosdel if they must. Lie low in other lands. It will be done. I'll take my leave then, Highness. The Royal Court. They possess the most direct capacity to use force. Why am I stumbling? Nesalem has agreed to hand over command because he was promised a war that would reshape the land. Although rather troublesome, it is a challenge that we would have had to face sooner or later if we were to achieve all that we hope for. Babel does not blindly reject violence. It is clear to us all that if necessary, we must use force to defend our beliefs. But this also means that the Sarkaz will further devour themselves, venting the hate they hold for the land by setting themselves ablaze. It will mean the end for us. Defeating the military commission will not solve our problems. We must give closure to those Sarkaz who have grown up, knowing only hatred and suffering, in other regards as well. As for Ripacy and Originum, we... Please, enter. Your Highness? Your wounds have not yet fully healed, Ascalon. There's no need for you to make your report in person. I've recovered. Besides, this is top priority. Hodor's team has successfully intercepted a witchcraft decoder. The doctor has already begun deciphering our enemy's codes. I believe we should see results soon. Is that so? Ines? W? You have done very well. Thank you, Your Highness. I hope we'll crack our enemy's comms as quickly as possible, so we can plan our next ops. Where's your captain, by the way? Hodor took a few flesh wounds. Nothing too serious. He's getting treated in the infirmary right now. If that is the case, then I will not waste your time. Go to him. Of course. Thank you kindly, Highness. W? Eh? What? Go to Hodor. Oh, Alright, got it. Guess he still ain't dead. If that is all, Your Highness, I have other business. That reminds me. I still haven't thought of a real name for the girl, have I? (1093) Winter. Weather. Rainy. Khasdel border. Khasdel. The doctor listens to the pitter-patter of the rain on the leaves, eyes closed. Drip, drop. The doctor's heart rages, filled with torment. A foul beast cries out in the distance. Answer my questions, or die here. Ask away. Are you betraying Babel? I've never been a Babel member, but I've also never abandoned them to face their struggles alone. Why have you come to me? I have a request. I will not speak to a miss with no name. Evil spirit. Who are you? Rain. Dr. Rain. Oh, I knew it was Teresa's. I freaking knew it. Rain. Teresa's lowers his weapon, the rain falling from the corners of his eyes onto the earth. He does not look at the one who invited him to this clandestine meeting, instead gazing upwards at the colossal statues of so-called heroes. Statues raised to commemorate the founding of the nomadic city of Khasdel by a pair of twins. Even after 100 years, his stone self still stands, sword drawn, by her side, despite the best efforts of catastrophe and storm. Not long after she had crushed the rebellion that sought to destroy the new city, the joyful people of Khasdel invited us to witness the unveiling of these two statues. Ancient Sarkaz language. Heroes. They were to watch over the border we had marked with our own two hands for generations to come, warning our foes, welcoming our friends. I once swore an oath to her below her statue. My sword would behead all who stand against her. The doctor stares at the statue of Teresa's, gaze unbreaking. Does the military commission not stand against her? No. There is no part of Khasdel that has truly risen up against her. Her foe is me, and me alone. And what of you? Theresis looks at the figure before him. Rainwater gathering at the hem of a long, hooded coat, rhythmically dripping onto the ground. The shallow puddles below ripple as falling drops strike them. You ought to remember that most Sarkars who once lived here have long since died, lost to history. There are only a handful left who know how to find this place. You came here on foot. How far have you walked? Very far. You have broken the witchcraft cipher created by Manfred's team that he's so proud of. I did that a long time ago. I just never told anybody. Even Teresa believes that I only began my work recently. Meaning, I'm in possession of nearly all of the military commission's battle plans. So I created this opportunity to meet you. Alone. You were confident that I would not kill the strategist who poses the greatest threat? I am confident that what I'm about to offer is worth enough that you wouldn't. Technology that can control Originum. How far can you go under so much pressure from Victoria? How do you plan to completely change the Sarkars? And even this entire land? I can give you the answer you need. You are a boastful one. So what is it you wish me to do, evil spirit? Destroy Babel. Scatter her followers. Let Teresa in on your plans. Unify the Sarkars under a Kazdel ruled by the military commission. The doctor has imagined the emotions that speaking those words would incite many times over. Destroy Babel. Only a sense of relief came over the doctor. The doctor stares at the statue of Teresa, unmoving, without the slightest hint of emotion. She and I have never relied on the charity of our enemies. In the course of leading Kazdel to where it stands today, it is true that this war will only end with the decisive defeat of one of us. But you should not be the one to propose it. Proceed. Tell me more of why you would make this request, evil spirit of an age long gone. You already know. There are no surprises here. Considering the 200 years you and Teresa spent working together, you should be able to guess. I seek the expansion of Originum. Oh, we are a fucking traitor. Babel's struggles will only prolong the dying gasps of this land, Teresis. No matter if you resist it or accept it, Originum will take on myriad forms, drawing all of civilization into her embrace. Have you ever looked up at the sky? Beyond that sky, far beyond the twin moons, there is a place that we would once return to, where we would sleep peacefully. But I am the only one left, here speaking with you. In the course of the Sarkars' eternal search for the remains of dead gods to fend off your enemies, have you ever wondered, why did those gods die? The rain intensifies. The doctor draws tight that trademark hood and stands below the towering statues. The shadows of the statues envelop the doctor, making this figure seem ever more insignificant. Teresa suddenly feels that the one standing before him in the rain is even harder to read than before. The burden I bear is greater than the future of the Sarkars. If I must destroy some things to create a ladder I hope for, I will do it. It's all I can do. I've already hesitated for far too long. Destroy some things to create a ladder. You speak lightly of sacrifice. Nothing light here, Teresis. Believe me when I say, you couldn't even conceive of what I've been through. And where do I see your sincerity for our cooperation? Is the shard not enough for you? Otherwise, even with the help of the Confessari, you... It is not. It is far from enough, evil spirit. It is only enough to spare your life. Only enough to stop me, the leader of the military commission, from killing a fated foe here and now. I require an even more direct means to advance this war to the next stage. If you wish for the Babel members to be spared, then so be it. The military commission promises you that as long as Babel concedes defeat and departs Kazdel, we will not exterminate those who desert or surrender. But you know what you must do in return. No. You can't. Who would have thought that the evil spirit, who so roused the interest of the Noxer king, would be such a coward? You can't both let Teresa live and allow the Babel members to leave safely. It's a total contradiction. Only with the destruction of Babel and the complete eradication of its members can Teresa leave for Londinium with me. Otherwise, it would merely be a case of the military commission quashing and dispersing yet another group of civilians, migrants, and pacifists. Even without my order, such things will happen naturally. Perhaps you believe that Teresa would be willing to step back and watch it before her eyes? She will not. And so she will resist. You know what I ask of you? If you truly wish to save the many who stand by your side, make them willingly admit defeat and surrender to me. Then slay their king. Bro, no way. No way, is Doctor... Wait, we're the filthy traitor? And then I will allow Babel to leave. As it collapses, it will no longer be considered a Sarkaz endeavor. And it will grow weak, drifting to the edges of civilization. Destroy some things to create a ladder, Rain. You're right. There is nothing light about this. In your opinion, what is the meaning behind the Civil War? What meaning would her death hold? Reclaiming our lands, rebuilding our homes, ending discrimination, and revitalizing our race. You will have heard these platitudes many times. They are too complex, and yet too simple. Merely a small and pitiful species trying to grasp their fate. I see. In that case, I will tip the scales of destiny. Destroy Babel, divide them, weaken them. Allow them to return to their former lives so that they can know a moment of peace in the final century. That way, we don't have to kill Teresa, or at the very least, we can minimize the loss of life. Fretting over violence serves only to stifle you. You understand the Sarkaz better than most, but perhaps still not well enough. I have a question myself, Dr. Rain. Evil spirit of a bygone age. You who call yourself a giant, a god, a supreme creator, one who can dictate the fate of the Sarkaz. Are you the only one of your kind? I am. That is good to know. Go, now, without guilt, and do what you have decided to do. If you worry there will be no one to tear you down from your lofty heights or judge your sins, don't. I will do it, evil spirit. Until there are none left to toy with our fate. I can't believe we betrayed Babel. The doctor listens to the splashing of the puddles behind, and the sounds of footsteps fading into the distance. Teresa's is gone, wishing to stay not a moment longer. Pale sunlight begins to seep through the gaps between the statues. The doctor cannot feel the slightest bit of warmth from it. The heroes continue to gaze into the distance. They do not look beneath their feet. There stands a figure who does not leave for a long, long time. No wonder Kal'tsit was so cold to us at the start. She must know that we did it, right? She has to know. Oh my god. I don't even know how to react. Early, 1094. The nomadic city of Kazdel. Kazdel. Please wait, General. You were too impatient. But General, the Duke's envoy was almost ready to spit on... Did we get what we wanted? We got partial usage rights for the industry area and the right to cross the border. But did it have to be so humiliating? The Victorian Dukes have you at their beck and call, treating us Sarkos like tame beasts. This is not what our soldiers redeployed from the Civil War were promised, General. Is this not all that we desired? Perhaps you would prefer the Victorians treat the Sarkos as their greatest enemy from the beginning, banding together to face us? I understand. I know it's necessary for our enemies to think us weak. But this... Many within our ranks feel this is terribly dishonorable. Did I promise them honor? Do the Sarkos have honor in the eyes of the Victorians? You have been far too impetuous lately, Manfred. Dignity is of high import. You fight for the rights of your men, and thus do people respect you. Were these ordinary times, perhaps I too would commend you. But you do remember what we are here to do? We are preparing to steal the heart of a nation. To bring the greatest empire on this great land to its knees. Their prejudices have left them weak, and the Sarkoses are in hunger. What we truly need is neither honor nor respect. I understand. Are our men prepared? Ready to depart at a moment's notice. Our people sent in advance to Londinium will support us. The final deadline for our arrival is dictated by the Duke of Cavendish's request. Is fast approaching. We can set out at any time. Good. Then we march to destroy Victoria. Have you been on duty this entire time? Yes, sir. Stand down for now. I wish to be alone for a while. Of course, sir. Once the guards leave, Manfred takes out a wine glass he had placed to the side. Care for a drink? You never drank before? I still don't, but the general has ordered me to learn Victorian etiquette. All preparation for our upcoming duty. I have learnt rather recently that every meal those nobles pair every meal with multiple kinds of wine, each requiring its own unique glass. Remember when we were young and the general led us to an ancient battlefield for swordplay? The night was cold, and only after the general made some soup did we realize we had nothing to hold it in. Thankfully, the battlefield was nothing short of spent shells, and you used those to fashion 4 cups. You, me, the general, and her highness, carrying cups made of shell casings while sitting in front of the fire. I remember. It was a peaceful night, just like this one. The frigid moonlight of late winter falls through the window. Manfred rests his hand upon his sword hilt that was equally as cold. The air is still, and the two of them can hear the other's heartbeat. You're going to Londinium tomorrow. I know you wish to see the General. And you couldn't. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come to see me. I gave up. I found that when I caught a glimpse of him from a distance, the first thought that came to mind was that I should kill him. There and then. Then you should applaud yourself for maintaining some reason. And so you decided to come to me? I heard you've improved your swordsmanship. Why don't we see for ourselves? I've never been able to best you. Don't beg for mercy before you've even fallen. There was the one time we fought in Her Highness's study. We knocked down an entire bookshelf, and the General took our weapons away and made us tidy up the room within 30 minutes. I knew that you did it on purpose, wanting attention from their Highnesses. Is that so? Ascalon hides herself away into the shadows in the blink of an eye. Another blink, and Manfred feels a chill running across the side of his neck. He didn't have the time to draw his sword and fight back. He didn't even have the time to think about fighting back. Perhaps he was too tired. If I cut your neck here, at least there will be no need for you to die in Londinium. I can just throw your corpse into the furnace. It would spare many from dying on a distant battlefield in a foreign land. If you've made your decision, then kill me here. It will be your final chance. You've made yours, I see. The General says you lack conviction, but I don't think he is entirely correct. You shouldn't speak so much when someone has your life in her hands. It is only recently that I've realized I'm not as resolute as you. We have been brought to where we are by the invisible tides of fate. But ever since the day this war started, there is no going back for us. Then do your best to survive. I won't hold back next time. The silent assassin stows her blade up her sleeve, then slowly steps back into the shadows. Neither will I. If only this was our last meeting. Rhodes Island of Babel, Kazdel. A cold wind scatters the thick clouds of late winter, allowing sunlight to peek through the gaps and spread across the bridge of the ship. Down the stairs, Ascalon stands unmoving by a guardrail. She shuts her eyes tight, enjoying the fleeting warmth of the sunshine. Above the stairs, there is a clear rustling of cloths dragging against the ground. A shadow flit across the assassin's face, blocking out the rays of sunlight. Sorry, Ascalon. Did I disturb your rest? I thought I wouldn't make any sound if I took off my shoes. No. You are welcome at any time. The ground's cold. You should put your shoes back on, Your Highness. Nothing you wish to tell me, Ascalon? You mean the reason you returned to Kazdel? It was my own decision. I thought you wouldn't agree, and I didn't know how to bring it up to Your Highness. Why would I not agree, Ascalon? Since it was your decision, I would trust your judgment. Did you manage to see them? Manfred and Teresis are both well. I can believe that. They're strong men. We should finish our preparations soon as well. The operation to retake Kazdel isn't too far off now. Why does your brow seem even more furrowed than before? Our recent combat plans have been radical. They've won us some battles too. Still, I've been feeling uneasy. Babel has changed a lot. Especially, yes, the doctor. The doctor has changed a lot too. Become more efficient, more clinical. It's like the doctor's now a machine that never makes mistakes. That's just what a commander should be, no? Why would that make you worry? We've got an incredible commander now, sure. But I think I trust the weirdo who kept falling off a burden beast more. Is now really the best time to attack Kazdel, Your Highness? Your intuition has always been on the mark. You've had your worries too. Do you remember? We faced countless insurmountable odds over the years, but we've overcome them all. I believe that we can go through what comes next as well. We've always been in danger, yes. Babel carries the hopes of many, Ascalon. Faith has gotten us this far, and we cannot stop now. We have always been at a disadvantage against the military commission. Now, most of their forces have redeployed to Londinium. It is a one-of-a-kind opportunity. We have no choice. I will be at your side, keeping you safe. No, Ascalon. In the future, you must go further afield to protect others. Relax for now and bask in the sunlight for a moment. Your Highness. Oh, right. Remember to not always rest on your feet. If you're tired, you should go and enjoy a nice nap in your room. I remember. The sunlight shines upon Ascalon's face once more. It is bright and warm. But the moment the shadow faded away, she suddenly felt some peculiar emotion flooding through her chest. At the time, she was unable to describe what it was. It dawned on her many years later, on a sunny day. It was an unwillingness to part ways. Londinium, Victoria. Mercenaries. Message from His High Grace. Message from His Grace, the Duke. Storming Londinium like this was well done. Assemble in Central in an hour. You'll be reviewed there, then you'll receive your bounty. Hey, did you get all that? Yes. Your orders have been received. Do let the Duke know on my behalf that we will be there on time. The Sarkos thank him for his generosity. Uppity devils. It could well be a rare fine day in Londinium, if it were not for the gunsmoke filling the air. From atop the towering city walls, one can see the entire lay of this ancient city. The general in his blood-stained uniform says not a word, his gaze fixed on the great edifice in the center of the city. In the skies above Londinium, a dark cloud floats by. We had to have planned this with him though, right? I don't understand what the doctor's plan is, but we're clearly we've betrayed Babel, right? Like, there's not no one in the city, right? Oh my god, what the heck did we do?